Hey guys, Post here. Welcome back to another Pokemon Mastery video, and we're gonna talk about, I guess, the legendary event. So, after trying some stuff out, trial and error, I think I've got, I guess, the best strategies to beat the co-op events, or I guess to grind, not just co-op events, because this also includes some single-player content as well as part of the grind. But to grind out these vouchers the fastest, which you would need a lot of them to exchange for Solgaleo dupes and Solgaleo power-ups, which will take a while because stuff like this, yikes. These are going to take a while. These are definitely going to take a while. These are going to take a while. So, anyways, let's get to this then. So, here's basically my philosophy on this. So, obviously, if you guys can't already tell, the Solgaleo event is much easier. Oh, I wouldn't say much easier, but definitely easier than the Mewtwo/Giovanni event. They tried to make it a bit more difficult by making Solgaleo use its sync move quicker in like four turns its sync moves in. So they tried doing that, but still, honestly, if you have the right strategy, it's not even an issue. So again, we're going for the most optimal strategies first. So not considering what you have or not have, but I'm just this is just what I think is probably your best bet to clear any stage. So let's go to quick connect. Well, actually, let's talk about these stages first. So these all give like a decent amount of vouchers. Obviously, the higher ones you go, the more vouchers you get per run, the more difficult it gets. The super hard doesn't give you vouchers at all, so don't even bother doing that. All you just have to do is just do it once for the clear, just to get the gems rewards for the first time clear. Aside from that, don't do this. Very hard is probably your best bet because all three of them, again, they're not really hard. Even very hard is not that hard, honestly. So let's go in here and let's talk strategy. This is obviously not the team I want to use. So Garchomp basically dominates this event, right? Everything is weak to ground. Garchomp pretty much destroys this event completely. It's not even close. Mudsdale, nope, does not step up to the I mean, Mudsdale's not terrible to use here, but definitely not a priority. If you got Garchomp, go for Garchomp. So what I've been experimenting around with is just basically different comps of Garchomp. So I first tried going triple Garchomp, and triple Garchomp's not terrible. It gets the job done, obviously, but it is kind of slow because you got a few issues with triple Garchomp, right? Because number one, you don't have Sandstorm, you don't have the move boost that you get from Sandstorm and all that stuff. You don't get the crit boost from Sandstorm, so you're not getting 100% crit, so you're relying on RNG not to win the match. You could still win the match, but it's not quick. It's much slower, right? And if you get Sync by Solgaleo, then that's going to make it much longer, right? So, again, 3 Garchomp is fine, but generally, I think you probably want to run support. So, basically, the other type of team comp I've been thinking about is actually running supports as well. Acerola is a must run with basically any comp. I first tried running Acerola at the 1, and I thought it was okay-ish, but one problem is Acerola, like, the Sandstorm just disappears too quickly, so when you're switching into your own Garchomp, it's kind of gone already. So what I thought of was putting Acerola in the 2 spot on the left side. So we start with actually a buffer. So what does Garchomp need? Garchomp does not need crit. Garchomp does not need I guess attack so much. So Garchomp only has up to +4 attack. So either you go for just full speed, or also give it attack. Which obviously the best option over here is Rosa. You could give speed, and then you could also give attack. But I think that's a bit overkill because you kind of want to swap into Acerola quick as well. So basically, what we're trying to do is, and we don't want Garchomps, we don't want them to use, and again, I'm talking about the optimal composition, not going in with randos, right? So we don't want them to use the other two Garchomps, the other two start Garchomp, right? We don't want them to use the matches 2 fun first. We want them to use two X attacks first, since we're starting with a support as well. So they go 2 X attacks, and then our support goes for like 1 X attack, and then we go for 1 X speed. Obviously, we'll want to go first. So first, us go special or X attack all, I guess, the support, and then we either go for X speed if you're running Hilbert, which is also fine to run as well. If you're running Hilbert, you go X speed. If you're running Rosanta, then you go all the presents, obviously, after 1 X attack all, and then afterwards you swap into Acerola, queue up Sandstorm. So as soon as Sandstorm is queued, as soon as you see Sandstorm's queued, the side Garchomps queue up their matches 2 fun. Obviously, 2 of those, that's, you got max speed, max crit, max physical attack, right? And then you start spamming Earthquake. Then your Acerola swaps into your own Garchomp. You go buff yourself as well, and then don't overbuff it, because if you overbuff, your Sandstorm's kind of gone, so you don't get the advantage of the Sandstorm. So I would say probably just one of this, maybe one of this, and go Earthquake. I haven't really figured this part out, so either you want to go from this straight into Earthquake, that's fine as well, or go in this and then this and then go to Earthquake. So obviously we're going for, I mean, that's what I would think is an optimal comp, but most of us, I would believe, is probably just playing with randos. So if you're playing with randos, I think the better comp in this scenario would be, and again, what I said was what I would think is a pretty optimal comp, but if we're playing with randos, a safer scenario would be just to start Garchomp, and if no one brings Acerola, and you have to, try to get Acerola in one of the spots as well, throw in Acerola, because randos, they tend to start with this match is too fun, so you really don't get too much of that time to get a buff in with Hilbert or Rosanta, right? So you could just go straight into Acerola, Sandstorm, as soon as possible, or maybe even start with Acerola, because the only problem with starting Acerola, I mean, there's upsides and downsides to starting Acerola, or having Acerola in the back, right? The upside to starting Acerola is you could get your Sandstorm up ASAP, so you guarantee you'll use Sandstorm before the Garchomps use This Is Too Much Fun. But if you start with Acerola, you run into the possibility where you run into randos. Again, this is with randos. You run into randos that also start with Acerola, and you don't really know what to do anymore, right? So you don't know if you're going to switch, if they're going to switch, who's going to use Sandstorm, right? That's a bit of an issue. Again, we're talking randos, right? So you don't really know what to do there. So that's one issue with starting with Acerola. If you want Acerola in the back, obviously the downside is you can't get a Sandstorm up ASAP, especially if you're playing with auto Cynthias. They'll definitely use their buffs before you go to Sandstorm. But the upside is if someone else has an Acerola, you don't have to waste time or figure out who goes first or whatever, right? So upsides, downsides. Let's just put Acerola in the first place just for this demonstration, I guess. Let's throw that in there. Cynthia is in the second spot, and honestly, third spot, just throw in some kind of single target striker. Mewtwo's fine, right? Mewtwo's great. We very, very likely will not need to use Mewtwo, even with a, semi not so great team comp with randos. Again, we are playing with randos. Even if we get some really bad randos, I mean, unless it's like really terrible, like Lapras or something. Palatoad, right? Palatoad is obviously a debuffer, and Solgaleo has Impervious. And there we go. Someone brought in Clay. Not sure what they're doing. Clay is terrible. Do not bring Clay. If you really just want to bring a ground type Sync Bear, bring Mudsdale. Even though Mudsdale's not that great, don't bring Clay. You're doing nothing with Clay. Clay's attack type Sync Pair does no damage. All he does is just stat down moves, and the opponent has Impervious, so you're not gonna influence their stats either way. So see, they usually start with matches 2 fun. So again, with randos, better to start with Acerola, so you could get that Sandstorm up before they use matches 2 fun. If they're if you have Acerola in the second spot, and if they're perceptive enough, they would probably see you have Acerola, and they'll wait for you to swap in Acerola and go for that. Look, this guy does like no freaking damage, man. Don't use him. Do not use him. Do not use him. All right. We'll start going. Let's get that second matches to fun in there while we're recovering move gauge, I guess. And also we already got the we did our part in the Unity. The Garchomp on the left looks like they don't want any part in this, unfortunately. So they're doing their own thing, which is fine, I guess, but obviously not optimal. But I mean, we're running randos. There's no optimal in randos, right? Again, do not freaking use pallet. This guy does absolutely nothing. Okay, it slows the speed of Rapidash and Houndoom, which is whatever, right? Honestly, even if you get like a really bad teammate, I don't want to use the word bad. That sounds a bit mean, but a teammate that generally doesn't know what they're doing. They bring not so great sync pairs. As long as you have your Garchomp in here, you got Acerola into Garchomp, or even if you don't have Garchomp, you have someone else who brought a Garchomp in here, and then you have Acerola to support that. You should be fine. You probably will not lose. You probably won't. You might need to retreat to that third striker, maybe worst case scenario, right? So just bring a decent third striker. Mewtwo. What else? Mewtwo is a good one. Obviously, just the usual suspects, right? Usual suspects, and that's dead. Mewtwo, Sceptile, Lycanroc, Nolan, all these guys, right? Crash Awake. No, don't break Crash Awake here. I mean, Crash Awake's not terrible, but there's better options, obviously. So that's 50 or so tickets, right? So after you get Solgaleo to a decent enough level, honestly, in terms of potential and stuff, I would just go for single player, because again, if you're playing with randos, you don't know what they're doing most of the time. Sometimes they would do throw in really, really bad stuff like Palatoad, right? Clay. You don't want to deal with that. I've seen people bring blue, which is absolutely atrocious for this event. Karen, these are terrible, terrible, terrible things to bring to this event. So after you get Solgaleo to max level 120, you give it a few dupes, you give it a few potential systems, I would honestly just suggest doing the Challenge Team Break Part 2. Challenge Team Break Part 2 with a optimal single player team is a joke. The first time I tried it, I got absolutely obliterated, right? I was doing Lucario, and it was under-leveled Lucario as well. So, but now, as long as you get Solgaleo in there, and my Solgaleo right now is vanilla level, but, once you get its few levels on Solgaleo, this thing is an absolute joke. You probably just auto it, right? Maybe you can auto it. I'm not 100% sure about that. Let's try, let's do it for science. But you could definitely manual it very, very quickly. Obviously, people don't have all day to manual it, so let's just put it on auto and see what happens. Remember, Solgaleo has Impervious, so even if they sync move us, we're fine. Don't have to worry about that at all. And looks like we're start focus blasting. That's cool, I guess. A bit too early for my taste, but it's auto, so can't do much about that. Again, Impervious, nothing is decreasing on our side in terms of stats. Did take out our Rosa Delibird, so that I guess could be concerning. We'll see. Are they really gonna focus blast that little HP? Okay, they are. Oh well. We are taking that T-Tar out. The sync move should one-shot this Marga, right? Marga. That's Jurassic World Live, which is the other game I cover on my channel. Okay, there we go. Again, my Solgaleo's no potentials in them. It's just a vanilla 120 at the moment. Of course, I will try to work on these, and it's what 20 per run. So if you do 2 runs, it's about as much as you get through a very hard match. Obviously, if you're going to do it manually, it's much better. Obviously, auto, this would be a much more reliable to auto in comparison to autoing on co-op, because co-op, you don't know who the heck you're getting, right? And yeah, that would be a bit disastrous. I mean, you would like co-op, I guess you can still do it. You just have to monitor, and if you get a bad teammate, you'll have to quit and then go in, and that's a bit of a waste of time. All right, so again, we're doing this manually now, and this should be pretty quick, honestly. Let's see. There's first focus blast. Second Focus Blast. Again, no potentials. And like I said before, you want to do this once you already got a few potentials in this thing. Got some dupes in this thing, so you could actually 3-shot it instead of 4-shotting it, which you could totally do, right? 3-shot instead of 4-shot would obviously help a lot. By the way, this sync move is fantastic. I love this sync move, man. They're doing good work with these new sync moves. They look really, really nice. All right, and there we go. That was decently quick, right? And again, decent amount of vouchers as well. That's what 20, 21, right? Although does this, I don't think solo gives you the super vouchers, right? Let me just check real quick. Let's do one more round. So again, you probably would want to do the co-ops for 1, to get Solgaleo's potential up before you farm this one, and then 2, also to get the other version of the vouchers. I can't remember what they're called. I think super vouchers or something really weird. But yeah, let's just make quick work of this one, and believe me, it's gonna be quick. Apparently the AI doesn't buff twice with Birth of the Sun with Solgaleo, which is, I guess, why auto is slightly slower, right? So there's that. Okay, Focus Blast. And of course, you know, if you got a reliable group, you probably just want auto co-op instead, because that will be much quicker. If you got a reliable group, everyone knows what they're doing. No one's bringing clay into the mix, then obviously you want to go with co-op. Co-op's much quicker. If you got a reliable group, co-op is quicker. You want to go with co-op. All right, Sunseal Strike. As we just run right through it. Okay, there we go. Again, I don't think we get the the special voucher thing. Yeah, this is just the regular custom voucher too. Co-op gives you the one that gets you all the other the vanilla potential tickets, which you should go for as well. These are really, really great, obviously. So honestly, if you want to make this quicker, I like, because these are just so expensive, I just go for the potential boost first, and then until they even out with your first dupes, then I'll start going for dupes, right? Or some kind of combination, just so I get to single player quicker, so I don't have to worry about people bringing in clay. I'm sorry to pick on that guy. It's not to pick on that person. A lot of people use clay, and it's fine. You know, the event just came out. People don't really know what's going on, and that's completely fine. I don't blame anyone this early for making, I would say, mistakes in this event. But anyways, that's me for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Let me know what progress you have on Solgaleo. Also, I will be doing a live stream farming co-op with you guys later today when I wake up. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys all join for that. That should be fun. And again, like and enjoy this video, subscribe to my channel for some more Pokemon Masters content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.